I think I quit here. Uterine. Dumb. Pamper. As you've never been pampered before. To pamper yourself, let us pamper you. Interesting. Yo. Banalified. Watched the video yesterday that says that banal is DFW's favorite word, apparently. Like, according to him. To the video maker. Because, yeah, he says it a lot in interviews and all that. Smorgasbord. Uh, uh. Marrow level, dread of the oceanic. Primordial nada. Something more than an abstraction. Yo. I guess. Lol. Can't I open this somewhere else? Do the things work here? No. Respite from unpleasantness. Great line. He's a good writer. DFW is a great writer, to be honest. I get what Venkatesh says. I mean, I don't read a lot, to be honest, but I want to see those so bad. I can read them out loud to you. Okay. Note 3. No wag could possibly resist mentally requesting the ship, the MV Nadir, the instant he saw the Zenith's silly name in the celebrity brochure. So indulge me on this, but the requesting's nothing particular against the ship itself. That's why he calls it Nadir, I guess. Note 4. Out of South Florida. There's also Windstar and Silveria tall ship adventures and Windjammer barefoot cruises, but these Caribbean cruises are wildly upscale and smaller. The 20 plus cruise lines I'm talking run the mega ships, the floating wedding cakes with occupancies in the four figures and engine propellers the size of branch banks. Of the mega lines out of the South FL, there's Commodore, Costa, Majesty, Regal, Dolphin, Princess, Royal Caribbean, good old Celebrity. There's Renaissance, Royal Cruise Line, Holland, Holland America, Cunard, Cunard Crown, Cunard Royal Viking. There's Norwegian Cruise Line, there's Crystal, there's Regency Cruises. There's the Walmart of the cruise industry, Carnival, which the other lines refer to something as Carnivore. I don't recall which line the Love Boat's Pacific Princess was supposed to be with. I guess they were probably more like a California to Hawaii circuit ship, though I seem to recall them going all over the place. But now Princess Cruises has bought the name and uses poor old Gavin MacLeod in full regalia in their TV ads. Okay. 5. USS Indianapolis. I'm doing this from memory. I don't need a book. I can still name every documented Indianapolis fatality, including some serial numbers and hometowns. Hundreds of men lost, 80 classed as shark, 7th to 10th August 45. The Indianapolis had just delivered Little Boy to the island of Tinian for delivery to Hiroshima, so ironists take note. Damn. Robert Shaw as Quint reprised the whole incident in 1975's Jaws, a film that, as you can imagine, was like fetish porn to me at age 13. 6. Luxury Cruise. And I'll admit that the first night of the 7 NCL CI asked the staff of the Nadir's 5-star Caravelle restaurant whether I could maybe have a spare bucket of au jus drippings from supper, so I could try chumming for sharks off the back of rail of the top deck, and this request struck everybody from the maitre down as disturbing. From the maitre on down as disturbing and maybe even disturbed, and that it turned out to be a serious journalistic faux pas, because I'm almost positive to the maître de passed this disturbing tidbit on to Mr. Dermatitis, and that it was a big reason why I was denied access to stuff like the ship's galley, thereby impoverishing the censor's scope of this article. Plus, it also revealed how little I understood the Nadir's sheer size. 12 decks and 150 feet up, the au jus drippings would have dispersed into a vague red cologne by the time they hit the water, with concentrations of blood inadequate to attractorize sight, a serious shark, whose fin would have probably looked like a pushpin from that height anyway. He's so funny. Okay, back to where we were. There's an it makes your existence seem not contingent. The hard play. Okay, capstan above. 7. Capstan. Apparently a type of nautical hoist, like a pulley on steroids. Okay. That was talking about the painting and all this. It makes your existence seem non-contingent. The Nadir got literally hundreds of cross-sectional maps of the ship on every deck, at every elevator and junction, each with a red dot and a "you are here." And it doesn't take long to figure out that these are less for orientation than for some weird kind of reassurance. Whoa. Always constant references to friends in the brochure's text. Part of these promises of escape from death, dread that is not cruiser. From death dread is that no cruiser is ever alone. 9. Okay, that's the same. In the lounge of the dinner, blah, blah, blah. When the curtain comes down next after a standing ovation, talk about your companions, turns to what's next. Perhaps a visit to the casino, or little dancing in the disco, maybe a quiet drink in the piano bar, or a starless lala. After discussing all your options, everyone agrees. Let's do it all. 10. See? Dante, this isn't. What the hell? Why does he call it 7NC? Always couples in this brochure. And even in group shots, it's always groups of couples. I never did get hold of a brochure for an actual singles cruise, but the mind reels. There was a singles get-together sick on the Nadir that first Saturday night, held in Deck 8's Scorpio Disco, which after an hour of self-hypnosis and controlled breathing I stilled myself to go to. But even the get-together was 75% established couples. And the few of us singles under like 70 all looked grim and self-hypnotized, and the whole affair seemed like a true wrist slitter. And I beat a retreat after half an hour because Jurassic Park was scheduled to run on the TV tonight, and I hadn't yet looked at the whole schedule and seen that Jurassic Park would play several dozen times over the coming week. Bro, so funny. I want to see why he calls them 7NC. 7NC. 7 Night Caribbean, okay. 7 NCs go to the Western Caribbean. Jamaica, no. 10 and 11 nights Ultimate Caribbean packages that hit pretty much. Let's see the costs part. From 2,500 to about 4,000 for mass market megaships like the Nadir. Unless you want a presidential suite with a skylight with a bar, automatic palm front, etc., in which case double that. Damn. Inflation since 1995 is probably like, what? 5x. So yeah, 5 times 4, 20. Maybe, yeah. Maybe that's a 2x, I guess. Tuna picking driller. Indulgence becomes easy, relaxation becomes second nature, stress becomes a faint memory. To the third kind of death and dread transcendence that the Nadir offers. One that requires neither work nor play. An enticement that is a 7 and 6 real carrot and stick. Just standing at the ship's rail, looking out to sea has a profoundly soothing effect. As you drift along like a cloud on water, the weight of everyday life is magically lifted away, and you seem to be floating on a sea of smiles. Not just among your fellow guests, but on the faces of the ship's staff as well. As a steward cheerfully delivers your drinks, you mention of smiles among the crew. He explains that every celebrity staff member takes pleasure in making your cruise a completely carefree experience and treating you as an honored guest. Besides, he adds there's no place they'd rather be. Looking back out at sea, you couldn't agree more. Celebrity 7 in the brochure uses the second person throughout. In response to some dogged journalistic querying, Celebrity's PR firm Press Liaison, the charming and Deborah Winger's voiced Miss Wiesen, had this explanation for the jury service. The people on board, the staff, are really part of one big family. You probably noticed this when you were on the ship. They really love what they're doing and love serving people, and they pay attention to what everybody wants and needs. Evolve. Today I wanted to do something. I wanted to make a channel. I shouldn't bite that. That you will. Your pleasure, several Megaline slogans go, it's our business. What in a regular ad would be a double entender here is here a triple entender. And the tertiary connotation is mind your own bloody business and let us professionals worry about your pleasure. For Christ's sake, it's far from incidental. Lol. How long has it been since you did absolutely nothing? I know exactly how long it's been for me. I know how long it's been since I have every need met. Choices live from someplace outside me without my having to ask and even acknowledge what I needed. And that time I was floating too, and the fluid was salty and warm, but not too. And if I was conscious at all, I'm sure I felt dreadless, and I was having a really good time. And would have sent postcards to everyone wishing they were here. Celebrity Cunard, Princess, and Holland American all use it as a hub. Carnival and Dolphin use Miami. Others use Port Canaveral, Puerto Rico, the Bahamas, all over. Dumb. 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 Nadirites. What the fuck? That's Nadir mean, actually. He keeps calling it Nadir, but it's. Then it's Nadir. Bruh, this guy. The ectoplasmize ourselves.
Ava.
Avas. She Avas. Ver ad Verus. Ah. Jesus Christ. "16. I was just never in countless tries able to determine just what the Engler Corporation did, or made, or was about, but they'd apparently sent a quorum of their execs on this 7NC junket together as a weird kind of working vacation or intra-company convention or something. Lol." Dental equipment, Miami, I guess. Lol. Lol. Bro. Lol. I guess this is not as thought-provoking as the television in fiction one. This is more like a fun read, I guess. Well, the parts about death and all this, right? I guess these more narrative parts are narrative parts are less. Yeah. Blimpless blimp hangar. Bro. Firmly declares celebrities' seriousness about this. The reason for the delay won't become apparent until next Saturday, when it takes until 10. to get everybody of the MV Nadir and Vector to appropriate transportation, and then from 10 to 2, several battalions of the jumpsuited Third World Custodial guys will join the stewards in obliterating all evidence of us before the next 1374 passengers come on. Cleaning, I guess, yeah. For me, public spaces on the US East Coast are full of these nasty little moments of racist observation and the internal PC backlash. Lol. This term belongs to an 8 cruise veteran, a 50-ish guy with blonde bangs and a big ginger beard, and what looks weirdly like a T-square sticking out of his carry-on, who's also the first person who offers me an unsolicited narrative on why he basically had no emotional choice right now but to come on a luxury cruise. I'm going to die if I keep doing this. Maybe? Nah. to the trash. Lol. Note 20. Steiner of London all be on the nadir. It turns out, selling herbal wraps and cellulite-intensive delipidizing massages and facials and assorted aesthetic pampering. They have a whole little wing in the top deck's Olympic Health Club, and it seems like they are all but own the beauty salon on deck 5. The Chicago Lady and Big Daddy are on the are in the hangar's southeasternmost row of chairs playing Uno with another couple, who turned out to be friends they'd made on a Princess Alaska cruise in '93. Damn. Now I'm writing this sort of squatting with my bottom braced up against the hangar's west wall, which wall is white painted cinder blocks. Going on a 7C luxury cruise is like going to the hospital or college in this respect. It seems to be SOP for a mass of relatives and well-wishers to accompany you right up the jump off point and then finally leave with a lot of requisite hugs and tears. Lol. For a cruise? That's crazy. He's slumped pre-adolescently. A kid with this hairstyle. Cellular phones. The Celestine Prophecy. Damn. Lol. Full color Spider-Man cap. Long story, not worth it. That's just the annotation. Funny. "12 makeoffs cameras." Another odd demographic truth is whatever sorts of people are neurologically disposed to go on 7 and see luxury cruises are also neurologically disposed not to sweat. The one venue of exception on board the Nadir was the Mayfair Casino. Lol. Enormous roll of crap. Nonchalant eavesdropping provides the most fun and profit, though. Why they sign up? It's like the universal subject of discussion, like this chit-chatting in the day room of a mental world. So why are you here? Funny. Relax. Long put off reward. Last ditch effort to salvage sanity and self from some inconceivable crockpot of pressure. Yo. This is banging. I'm pretty sure I know what this syndrome is and how it's related to the brochure's seductive promise and total self-indulgence. What's in play here, I think, is the subtle universal shame that accompanies self-indulgence. The need to explain to just about anybody why the self-indulgence isn't really in fact about self-indulgence. Like, I never go get a massage just to get a massage. I go because this old sports-related back injury is killing me and more or less forcing me to get a massage. Or like, I never just want a cigarette, I always need a cigarette. Jesus. Jesus fuck. Deck 3 gangway. Like all megaships, the Nadir designates each deck with some 7-inch related name, and on the cruise do it confusing because they never refer to decks by numbers, and you could never remember whether e.g. the fantasy deck was deck 7 or 8. Deck 12 is called the Sun deck, 11 the Marina deck, 101 Forget, 9's the Bahamas deck, 8 Fantasy, and 7 Galaxy, or vice versa. 61 never did get straight. 5 is the Europa deck, and comprises kind of the Nadir's corporate nerve center, and is one huge high-ceilinged bank-looking lobby with everything done in lemon and salmon, with brass plating around the guests' relations desks and purser's desk and hotel manager's desk, and plants and massive pillars with water running down them with a sound that all but drives you to the nearest urinal. 4 is all cabins and is, I think, called the Florida deck. Everything below 4 is all business and unnamed and off limits, with the exception of the smidgen of 3 that has the gangway. I am henceforth going to refer to the decks by number, since that's what I have to know in order to take the elevator anywhere. Decks 7 and 8 are where the serious eating and casinoing and discos and entertainment are. 11 is the pools at the cafe. 12 is on top and laid out for serious heliophilia. Heliophilia. Aryan looking hostesses. Pre-cruise taken. A thoroughly silly and superfluous job, if there ever was one, on this 7N photocopia. Because everyone has carrying cameras, I imagine, right? One of the two hospitality hostesses seems to have an orthopedic red shoe, and she walks with a very slight limp, and somehow this detail seems terribly moving. And does Inga Angeli of hospitality walk me on and in? Dumb. Dumb. Crepe and horns. Crepe cruise. No idea. Can I just ask ChatGPT? Mhm. By the way, I asked ChatGPT what could possibly mean by crepe. Wait, what? Who likes is someone here? One person, apparently. Hey, I'm literally just reading. I didn't understand one part, so I asked ChatGPT what it meant with that, and now I kind of understand, I guess. It's something about a cruise. Like DFW, David Foster Wallace, some guy that writes stuff. He wrote this book also, Infinite Jest. Haven't read it, but yeah, he wrote this one. This is like, I guess, his most famous book or something. And yeah, I've been reading some essays from him, and I really like his style and think it's funny. So yeah, I thought this, and I like cruises like as a topic. I've never gone in a cruise, but I've watched a lot of videos about cruises. So I was like, fuck it, let's read this essay about cruises because a girl I know on Twitter. Well, no, I don't know her. Like a kind of famous, semi-famous person in Spain tweeted an article that she had written, and she mentioned this kind of David Foster Wallace article about cruises, and I was like, fuck it, let's read it. And yeah, that's what I'm doing, reading it. Like, not out loud, because I'm not a good reader out loud, to be honest. I'm reading out loud like these notes, because it doesn't let me click the footnotes, so the footnotes I read out loud. And yeah, I basically got here. I didn't know what it meant, what crepe meant here. Whole first 2 days and nights are bad weather, with high pitched winds and heavy seas. Spume lashing the porthole's glass. Whoa. Let's see. Spume lashing the porthole's glass. The single best new vocab word for this week, spume. Second best was Scheisser. One German referee called another German referee who kept beating him at darts. For 40 hours, it's more like a luxury North Sea cruise, and the celebrity staff goes around looking regretful but not apologetic. Let's see. This expression resembling a kind of facial shoulder shrug, as at fate. And in all fairness, it's hard to find a way to blame Celebrity Cruises Inc. for the weather. Though I can't help noting that the weather in the Celebrity 7NC brochure was substantially nicer. Gale of Force days like the first two, blah, blah, blah. Back to reading quietly. He talks about a lot about this kind of stuff, right? The marketing versus reality, kind of this whole thing, like 5 to 7 or 4 to 7 was all like the boarding process. So like before you get in from the airport to the fucking place where you go, right? He was talking about how that is not shown in the ads. Like he doesn't tell it like that explicitly, right? But that is kind of what shows, right? He says something like they do it intentionally, right? It's a mess. You are waiting under the sun, the buses take a long time to come, then you are waiting in some kind of hangar for a lot of hours, and it's like, and he's like, yeah, there is a feeling, like I get the feeling that they do it on purpose, right? So that the vacation is like that much better in the cruise or something. Is this like vapor estribor in Spanish? Sotavento, barlovento. Windward, leeward, lee shore. Okay, so the side that does not have wind. Okay. The one other guy, whoever joins me in trying out the non-lee side, has his glasses blown up by the wind. He does not appreciate my remarking him that round the ear cable arms are better for high wind view enjoying. Lol. Yellow slicker. That's kind of the, yeah, okay. Deck 10. Kind of crazy. This is in the 90s, by the way. It's 1995, I think. Or 1993, I don't know. But yeah, 1993. And like the cruise is this one. Celebrity Cruise. Celebrity Zenith. So it's already big. But yeah, this is old by now. Like the icon of the seas, this shit is insane. This fucking shit, it's crazy. I don't know why it doesn't load it well, but yes, you can see this is like literally fucking insane. So it's like reading him in the 90s. I read an essay called this Unibus Pluram. And this essay is about kind of television and fiction. He says it here, right? He talks about television and how television influences us and all that, right? And kind of the craziness of television, not I guess basic level craziness, right? Like news saying crazy shit, but like the craziness concept of like television itself, making you want making you want to watch more television and all that. That kind of craziness, right? And how it is the only thing up until then that had taken up so much time, right, of people. So like 6 hours a day people were watching TV. And the paradox of TV is that TV shows you things that are supposed to be like cool, but also TV does it in an ironic way. Many things, right? It's an interesting essay, right? And this is kind of similar in this sense, right? Oh yeah, and that was in the 90s, in 1990, that older essay. So it's like in the 90s, he was already talking about this, and now 30 years later, 25, 30 years later, it's still the same, but like to a different degree and with some differences, right? It's like we are 30 years in the future, but this still holds up in a way, right? So it's like, I imagine if you go to the Icon of the Seas, that's Royal Caribbean, right? If you go to a Royal Caribbean cruise, you're going to be like experiencing some of like these same things, but maybe taking it to a different length, right? So it's interesting to read. Because I've watched a lot of videos about cruises, but actually I've watched most of the videos about cruises that I have watched are about working in the cruise, like people who work there, and then some also enjoying the cruise as well, and different cruises, like literally like swinger cruises and all that. That's crazy. Videos about that. Yeah, it's interesting. So, but I have not read, I guess, something before you could make videos, right? Because making videos about cruises changes the incentives, kind of what you show, right? Whether you want it or not. Like there are people who are like trusty, you could say, who make videos that are more chill, and well, not that chill, but like who make videos that are less sponsorable by cruise companies, basically, right? That are not literally ads and are more like trying to be reviewers, right? But even then, like the profession of the viewer is different than, I guess, here he's like writing about the soul, you could say, right? And that's interesting. By the way, I always ask these questions. Where are you from? What car do you drive? / what is your dream car? And what's your lore? So yeah, feel free to write them. I assume you exist because like I have a counter here, right? It tells me that there is one person. And when you leave, the curve goes like this. Boop, it goes down. So yeah, I assume you're here. Sorry. And yeah, I looked up this thing and ran into this tirade talking about that because of this part, deck 10. Because deck 10, like, whoa, crazy that in the 90s there were already like 10 decks cruises. And like this, the Icon of the Seas, this is fucking insane. This has like 18 decks if I recall correctly, something like that. 9 meters, 20 decks. Yeah, it's insane. 20 decks. Crazy shit, this. 3 engines of 20,000 horsepower each. Three engines of 27,000 horsepower. and 6,000 horsepower engines for both thrusting. That's crazy. Yeah, because this is the installed power for like electricity, I guess, and this is propulsion. It's crazy. Like, they are insane machines. Navantia. That's a Spanish company. Okay, for example, now it tells me that you left. Here. Okay. I'm going to take that as the